I thought so.
Welcome to Revelator. I'm your host Ryan. Thanks for hanging out with me. And it's been a busy couple weeks. It's nice to be back behind the microphone now. For those who are following the new YouTube channel, thank you very much. The first episode with her reaching over almost 1,000 listens in just a couple weeks. So I appreciate the support there. I know it's kind of a trial and error, because we've been doing the audio podcast solely for 6 years now. So it's been rough to kind of get everyone over from the podcast audio format over to the video aspect of things. And so I encourage everyone to go like the YouTube page, subscribe to it, click like, let people know that we're kind of steering that direction heading into the summer, and we'll see how it goes. But the first couple episodes on there, like I said, with over 1,000 listens, the first couple episodes is a reassuring thing. When you go to do something, make a jump like that. But I've been very busy with concerts. I've kind of been the man about town here. So many concerts, which has been fantastic. And for those following, the concert gallery, thank you. For those who are listening, maybe hearing that's for the first time because of our guest on this particular episode. That is Beasto Blanco. Chuck Garric and Calico Cooper will be joining us a little later in the broadcast. You do not want to miss that. We cover all kinds of great material, from touring, Elvis cover songs, the new album, list goes on and on there. So you don't want to miss that interview coming up here in just a moment. But big thanks to Nolan Simmons as well for covering a show for me. He went and covered POD, Nonpoint, and Hyro the Hero. You can check photos from all three sets of those bands as well. Jasmine Kane, who's been on the show several times. She put on a great May 4th show, photos from that, including Femi Taylor from Return of the Jedi, photos of her as well, and the 501st Star Wars Battalion, the Star Wars Burlesque show. You don't want to miss photos of any of that stuff. I covered Judas Priest at Municipal Auditorium, Meshuggah at Marathon Music Works, Beartooth at the Cannery Ballroom, Ace Frehley at Marathon Music Works as well, Of Mice and Men, some local stuff, Vice Tricks, Taco Mouth, and dating back into the late April stuff, Buck Cherry, From Ashes to New, Ice Nine Kills, Rival Sons, Joyous Wolf. You get the idea. There's a lot of concerts that we've covered here in town, and I can't think of anyone in the area that's covered more shows than we have here at RevelatorShow.com, and for that, we will continue to hang and carry that banner on the Nashville music scene. If there's a rock and metal show coming into Music City, there's a damn good chance we're going to be there covering it, or have someone covering it if I can't make it. That's just how we've been doing it in the last couple years, and we've been fortunate to keep rolling. And for people like you listening out there, keep liking the photos, and sharing with others. And it's funny, a lot of people come to me like, "Oh, I didn't even know you had a podcast, man." Always known for your great photos and stuff. I didn't know you had a podcast. And then listen to the podcast. I had one photographer a couple weeks ago. We were in the pit, before in between bands there, and he's like, "Man, I finally went and listened to your podcast. It sounds like you know what the hell you're doing." I'm like, "Well," I was like, "Give it a couple more listens, you'll find out we have no idea what the hell we're doing, but we like to think that we know what we're doing at this point, But again, Chuck Garric and Calico Cooper from Beasto Blanco will be joining us here in just a moment. Let's take a look at the top 10 movies. Hopefully everybody had a nice, safe Memorial Day weekend. I didn't do a whole lot. I did a couple shows. I don't have photos from those shows coming up here soon. I've got a burlesque show I'm photoing this week, and a couple other shows here yet to be named, so keep a look out there. But Memorial Day weekend, obviously, kind of the start of summer, pools start opening, and kind of remembering our fallen. And I think it's always nice to take a moment of reflection to honor those who literally gave everything for us to enjoy family, friends, and those extra long weekends of cooking out and having drinks. So it's always nice to take a moment of reflection there. So hopefully you had a nice Memorial Day weekend. Let's take a look at the top 10 movies. Kind of a weird transition there, but like usually a long weekend means, you get out. It's been super crazy hot in the South. For those dealing with storms in the Midwest, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Illinois, hopefully yeah, you're safe and sound there. But these are your top 10 movies, starting with number 10, working our way up to number 1. The movie Long Shot, $1.6 million. The Intruder, $2.3 million. The Hustle, $3.5 million. A Dog's Journey, which, I mean, I guess if you're looking for a good cry, go see that movie, $4.4 million. Booksmart, $6.9 million. Burn Bright, $7.8 million. Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, not my thing, but it's getting pretty good reviews. People say it's pretty good. So $13.4 million. And, of course, Avengers Endgame still holding in the top there. No surprise, number 3 on the list at $17 million. John Wick Chapter 3, $24.5 million. And the movie Aladdin, which I actually took my son to go see a couple days ago. He enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. I thought that it was an okay film, and if it wasn't for Will Smith, it would be a big, hot, steaming pile of crap. Will Smith definitely carried the film for me. And there you go. I wish I had a John Wick 3 review for you, but I'm sure anybody who fucks with John Wick's dog, you know what's going to happen. You know, he's coming for your ass. Bullets blazing. I don't know if he packed the hollow points or not like Deadpool, but I assume that he did. So there you go. Those are your top 10 movies at the box office. Major League Baseball is in full swing. As a Cleveland Indians fan, they are, 11 games out of first place in the worst division in football, Central Division. Injuries and the Dolans as owners have sabotaged that team. So hopefully your baseball team is doing a lot better than my Cleveland Indians. And, of course, the NBA Finals are set. What a shock. The Golden State Warriors made it to the finals again. They will be taking on the Toronto Raptors. I expect it to be a competitive series. I think the Warriors will probably win the series in 6 games. But they do not have home court. This is the first time they've been in the finals in the last 5 years where they do not have home court. I don't know how big a part that is going to play. I know Toronto has a great fan base and a great crowd. So maybe things, will tilt a little bit with that home court advantage for Toronto, but they've got to hold serve if they're going to win that series. I would like to think Toronto will win in 7. I think if it gets to a Game 7, Toronto wins Game 7 on their home floor, but I don't think it's going to get there. I think that the Warriors probably win it in 6 and close out the 3-peat, which has only been done several times. Jordan did it twice, Kobe and Shaq did it, and obviously the Celtics did it in the mid to late 60s. That's a whole different era of basketball compared to where we are now with free agency and the money that's involved there. But there you go. NBA Finals, little baseball talk for you as well. For those interested in following me on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Revelator Ryan. We got the Facebook page. Instagram is Revelator_show. And, of course, the brand new YouTube channel as well. So feel free, click the subscribe button, check out some concert footage, and, more interviews will be coming up, including our guest right now. Joining me here on Revelator at this time is Chuck and Calico from Beasto Blanco. What's going on, brother? How are you?
We're doing great, man. Like I said, we're on the road from Nashville, headed to Memphis. We were in, where were we last night before? We were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We played the Hard Rock there. We had a good time. So, yeah, man, we're on our way to Memphis now, and we're sort of on the tail end of this thing. It's been amazing. We finished up our tour dates with Halestorm and Palais Royale, and now we're on solo headlining dates.
Nice. Yeah, no, we had a chance to talk, a couple weeks ago at the COC show. We talked about it earlier before we got started here. I was really excited to see you guys out with Halestorm, obviously some mutual friends, but, to get out and for people to see you guys, some of the larger venues to see just how kick-ass you guys are as a band live.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's been a good run for us. It's been great to play some territories that we haven't had a chance to go to yet, right. and also some demographics that we haven't had a chance to hit yet as well. So we've had a hell of a time with the Hellstorm bunch and Palais as well. It was a good bill. It was we got to do some good shows within this moment and Seven Dust. So it was overall it was a lot of fun for us. We got to see some old friends, make some new ones, and got a chance to sort of let the world know what we're about. The reaction was really good, so we're happy to just keep going.
Yeah, well, the new album coming out here, I think, about 24 hours from now. So obviously you guys are pretty excited about that. I know you guys have been working on it a while. I know I've seen you a couple times around town here in Nashville. Like, hey, how's the album? You're like, hey, it's finally done, man. So I'm nice to get a chance to speak with you about the new album, the new single, Seeker. The video is fantastic. And I know Calico, she actually pretty much did this, scored it, did the special effects. pretty much did the whole damn thing here and started the video to boot, man. So I don't know if you want to put her on real quick. What was the selection process for this being the song "Seeker" being the first single? What was the selection process? Because it seemed like the album, for me anyway, listening to it, you guys could have gone any direction as far as the first single is concerned.
Right. I mean, that's definitely my mindset as well. I think that there was a bunch of different songs for grabs, and really what we wanted to do musically. And since the real concept behind actually choosing "The Seeker" as a single was that for the people that are that are fans of Beasto and that have been fans of Beasto for so many years and been following us, you can hear it in that song. It sounds like the new birth of Beasto. It's familiar to the older fans, and it's also catchy enough to get the new fans on board to give the rest of the record a listen, and I love that song. I love the story. I love the music. I love the arrangement on it. So for me, it was there was a good 4 or 5 tunes that I would have been happy with,
Yeah, because I look at going to the album just in the first couple there, Ready to Go, Down, I think is a song on the album I thought that kind of surprised me because the album starts off Solitary Rave, Ready to Go, and then Down comes on. I'm like, oh wow, that's it's a different twist for you guys musically. And obviously, with this being the third album, do you feel that you got collectively this is the best work you guys have done as a band? Obviously, with time permitting, with all your other projects and Alice Cooper, all the other things you have going on, do you feel this is the best version of Beasto?
Let's save that question after Calico answers the one about the video. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, deal. Right on.
Hold on 1 second. Here she is.
Hello.
Hey, Calico. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Welcome to the TRS podcast. It's great to finally talk with you. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much. I can't believe I made it another year. There was times I would go past 35, but here we are.
I'm right there with you. I'm a walking accident in on a lot of different things, but yeah. So happy belated birthday to you. Did you do anything to celebrate at all for your birthday, or anything special going on, or?
We played at Dingbats on my birthday, and they could not have been more accommodating. We played in New Jersey, and it's my birthday, so it was loading in, and hot. We've done 11 in a row kind of deal, and so just kind of like loaded in and played the show. And I'm telling you, the guys that own that place were so gracious. I got a birthday cake after the show, and everybody was bringing me gifts. It was really actually one of the nicer birthdays I've ever had.
That's super cool, though, to have a venue. I think it's, you always hear bad things, like, oh, this venue did this, that, and the other, and it's always nice to hear the opposite of that, like, where the venue is very accommodating and super cool to the bands that are coming through. Now, like
our fans stay with us, like they stayed, there's people that drove for 5-6 hours to go to that show, and they stayed to celebrate my birthday after until the wee hours in the morning. So it was really,
awesome.
Really awesome.
That is very, very cool. I appreciate you sharing a little background there as far as your birthday week there. But I was talking to Chuck about the single "Seeker," and we were talking about how the album could have gone any direction as far as the selection process is concerned. But I know you had a huge hand in the creation of this video. I guess where did you record the video at, and is this your first major crack at scoring, directing, and starring in a video?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely obviously been around it my whole life, and I direct and produce commercials. So I mean, obviously I know the nuts and bolts of it, but it was funny to bring on my team that works predominantly on commercials, and there's a style to shooting a commercial. You have to get all this content, you have to get these product shots, and I kept going, when we were in pre-production for the video, I kept going, guys, this is not what you think it is. It's conceptual. Just get what you get. We're going to wing a lot of these shots. And they're like, you can't do that. I go, yes, you can. It's a music video. People are going to take away 1 billion different impressions and stories, and that's the idea. So for a conceptual video, that's what you want. So when I came up with the idea, it was just based on the vibe and the lyrics, and I was kind of driving through the desert, and I just kept seeing this woman running in the desert, and it all kind of started there, So they gave me carte blanche to create the video and and everything. And so I really took it and I did everything. I mean, I wrote it, I directed it, I did out the shot list, I got the location, I made the costumes with my hands, I did all the special effects and makeup, I did all the props, I hired all the cast, and when it came together, it was so cool to like start. You have 12 hours is your day. That's what you have, like, on any location usually. So the minute that clock ticked, I was there, 20 minutes early, ready to get out of the car and go, and we used every minute of that day. And Chuck and I got in the car at the end of it and started driving away, and I'm looking at him, and he's dressed in his crazy poncho, and I'm all covered in blood, and I go, I can't believe we did that. I can't believe we pulled that off.
Well, you definitely did it. It's a really cool video, and I think it's a great introduction for people who are maybe not familiar with the band and its history to kind of get a glimpse of the imagery that you put on the video, but also on stage as well. And I know you do, you spend a lot of time with makeup and everything. And you mentioned, I think on Instagram, that you listened to the original Phantom of the Opera before every show while getting ready. Is that true?
I do. It's 3 hours of probably the most diverse and beautiful music ever written. And so it just depends on where you want to punch in. In the musical, it's great to warm up to, because I sing all the guys' parts and the girls' parts, and the tempos and everything, and also it just puts me in kind of like another headspace. You know what I mean? Like everybody around listening to, which is great, metal and rock and everything like that. And then I kind of step off to the side and sort of have a moment where, I can become kind of this creature. And how odd is it that like this kind of like cyborg motor queen is listening to music of the night,
Well, as someone who's been able to catch you live several times here in Nashville, I will say that anyone who misses you guys live, whatever town you're in, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I wanted to ask you about the live thing. Obviously you have some props. You have seen mannequin hands, the bats, the fire extinguisher, all kinds of different things. How much of that is choreographed, and how much of that is spontaneous for you as far as your actions on stage?
Well, I think Chuck sets me up for success there. He puts a lot of things on stage that are a possibility for me, and then I just kind of go there or don't. You know what I mean? There isn't a lot of choreography other than when somebody, possibly could get hurt. So people kind of know around when I'm going to do something. If I do it, I'm going to do it there. But they also know where to not be.
Fair enough.
So, but I don't have anything choreographed. I feel like it's really constricting to be like, right at this part, do this right here. Because then I'm in my head about what's coming up. The part's coming up. Okay, the part's coming up. If I just feel like I want to walk off and do this or do that, I love the freedom of not knowing what's going to happen next.
Well, I think that's key as well, because as a photographer on the side, I see a lot of bands where I've seen them, 2 or 3 times, and I noticed, and I don't want to call anybody out, but you notice that they stand a certain way or they do the same thing over and over again, which I'm kind of like, that kind of takes away from, the what a rock show should be like. It should be wild, and you don't know what's going to happen next, kind of feel,
I agree, and I'm of this mind that like, if I wanted to listen to the record, I'd stay home and listen to the record.
Right.
Like, I want to see how the record moves the band that wrote it. I want to see, I want to see the rough edges. I want to see all that stuff. And if you're, doing it by rote, it almost like it feels like your heart's not in it.
Yeah,
so
it becomes very...
being judgy with judgy pants, but that's what I do best.
Yeah, no, it feels very mechanical. Like I said, I don't want to call any bands out. I know there's a lot that goes into it. Daily in and out when you're on tour and stuff. But I feel like it's very mechanical. And I like the fact that you guys are. You have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know if the fire extinguisher's coming out. You don't know if you're ripping mannequin hands or whatever the heck's going to happen. I love the fact. I love that vibe that you guys put live. And like I said, anyone who does not go see Beasto Blanco live when they come to your town and you're into heavy metal and rock, you're doing yourself a disservice big time. But with the album coming out here, We Are the band's third album. For you, there's a lot of great songs in here vocally. I think it's fantastic. Solitary Rave, Perception of Me. Those are 2 that really stick out for me. Well done. What was as far as you guys taking turns vocally, how does that work as far as the writing process in the studio for you guys? Is that something where it's just like, hey, I have this idea, I want to do this, and Chuck just steps aside and just lets you take the reins?
Yeah, well, here's what I'll do. I'll answer it, and then I'll give it over to him because he probably has a totally different and equally answer.
Sure.
But for me, we do a lot of talking, and we know each other pretty well. So when those songs get written, it's interesting to see how those conversations have bled into the writing process. Like, I'll hear the demo of the song, and I go, is that what you took away from what I said? But that's cool, because that's what you took away from what I said. And so now I get to tell him a story, then he gives it back, and then I get to tell it to everybody. Because I don't have I'm not a songwriter. I'm a performer. I'm a singer. So I definitely leave that to the professionals. But I know how to tell a story. And so when I, talk to, the whole writing team, I go, hey, listen, so Solitary Rave, right? I'm a girl that when I get super angry, I'll just go away. And I don't want you to follow me. And the joke is, a lot of girls go, don't follow me, I'm leaving. And then, so big, come back. Don't follow me. Because I'm leaving, because I need you to not die.
Right. It sounds like you and my wife would get along great, actually. My wife was the same way. She's like, just leave. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go in the studio, and you go do your thing, and we'll reconvene later.
Yeah. We'll rebound, and I'm not doing it to be, obstinate. I'm not doing it to be a jerk. I'm doing it because I really want to preserve this relationship.
Right.
So if one more thing happens, I'm going to crack. And then it gets ugly, and then I say things I don't mean. So I go away, give me a second, and when I come back, I'm like, okay, everyone's human again, and we can continue on with our day. But, it's just nuggets like that that are in that song that are, that are incredibly truthful. Actually, a fun fact about the Solitary Rave is that we were at a bar, and the only wine that they had, white wine is what I drink, and the only wine they had was Chardonnay. They didn't have the heart to be like, I don't like Chardonnay.
Right.
And so now it's in the song. It's really good about it, like, oh, we've got Chardonnay, or I'm like, anything but that. So that's just a funny little fun fact. I'm not a huge fan of Chardonnay, but the song's really good. So now I pop Chardonnay.
That's funny because I thought of the movie Sideways, where they go to the winery and the guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the guy's like, he's like, if anybody orders fucking Merlot, I'm out of here. I'm not fucking drinking Merlot. That's kind of like the vibe I got right there. Like that's it. I'm out of here. I'm not drinking Merlot.
With the song like Perception, that had a lot to do with conversations that I've had. People comparing me, to a famous parent, and nobody's more supportive of, my acting career or Beasto or anything than my parents are. And so grateful for all the Alice fans that come out, and support Beasto. But I definitely do catch a lot of, what I'm doing up there is what I'm doing. I don't, his dynasty never crosses my mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then you get, people that are complimentary. So, oh, you are just a chip off the old block. You are so much like your dad. I go, when is the last time my dad jumped off of a 10-foot riser with a cannon? But I go, thank you very much. And then, the negative side, it's like, oh, well, she's trying to be like her dad. I go, how in the good God is it because they're doing music? So it goes both ways. But Perception is really written about, like we use my name on the record. It's not Calico Cooper, it's Calico. Like Madonna, or Britney.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But it's kind of reclaiming that title.
Well, I think that also. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut there. I feel that that take where that we're talking about the perception of. I think that's just a lazy take. I think a lot of people were like, oh well, she's Alice Cooper's daughter and she's doing this on stage. So she's just trying to mimic or whatever. But if anyone actually took a moment to actually just watch you perform. And like I said, I've had the luxury of just seeing you a bunch in the Nashville area over the years, but I've never seen you perform and go, oh, that's just like Alice. That's never crossed my mind ever. And I think it's kind of a backhanded compliment to be like, oh yeah, you're just the apple doesn't fall from the tree or whatever analogy you want to use there. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, but somebody said something really wise to me about that. And then I'll hand you over to Chuck. If I want you to ask him that same question. I think with the comparative thing, I just think people don't know how to say good job. I think people don't know how to say, wow, you're a great performer. I love that show. They think because they love ours, the highest form of compliment would be to, compare, which is actually really funny. I literally, on this podcast, just had a revelation. Always, with work, they're always like, oh, you're just like your dad. Oh, you're such a great stage presence like your dad. But Beasto is so different than anything that, he did or was doing or is going to do. And then with my mom, people go, oh, man, your mom is so hot, ... You kind of look like her. I'm like,
what?
So, I can't win, man.
Yeah, that's probably.
And then
that's very odd. Yeah. Hey, you and your mom are really hot. Yeah. I mean, you're a very attractive woman, and I don't think Alice has ever worn the boots that I've seen you wear. So maybe you need to, he needs to step up his game. So.
Well, here, let me get you to Chuck that.
Okay, right. Thanks.
Yo, hey, buddy.
Hey, Chuck. Me and Calico were talking here about the obviously some of the songs on the new album We Are, and as far as the the vocal work that she does versus the vocal work you do on some songs, and kind of the give and take where Perception of Me and some of the other ones on the album where she kind of takes the reins vocally. Do you help her as far as like the songwriting aspect of it? Is that something that you kind of hone for her as far as the storytelling part of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we songs like Solitary Raven, Perception of Me, I mean, were written specifically for Calico. I mean, we really want to develop that character. And I've always been a huge fan of bands that, had multiple singers, if you will, from Kiss to, even Ted Nugent, bands like that just sort of, kind of gave you a little bit of a change up. And, her character is so dynamic and so fun to write for that, that is definitely something that we do intentionally, because obviously it makes for a better record, and it just makes for a better show as well, other than she's got multi-talented individual who's able to, perform at a very high level, and but also she can sing, and very well. So it's like I'm just, trying to use all of her talents.
Well, well done. Like I said, I enjoy the album, and I can't wait to hear some of these new songs live. I imagine you guys have been playing some of the new ones on these tours. Is that kind of give and a take for you as far as set list writing to kind of with these new songs to kind of figure out what's going to play live better than maybe others? Is that kind of a mix it up kind of nightly to kind of get some of these new songs out there and kind of see what plays well with the crowd?
Yeah, man, it's been like the hardest thing about it is like what songs do we choose? I know when we were on the Halestorm run, it was really more about have 30 minutes. How can we tell the story of what Beasto Blanco is about in 30 minutes, which is about 6 or 7 songs. So we have to be very selective about each song and how it would tell the story and how it works theatrically and how each member of the band gets a chance to sort of showcase. And it's always about the show for us. So I think we were able to really give the audience a really clear idea of what to expect from Beasto Blanco with the songs we chose on that set list. As we're progressing more forward and moving on to our headlining shows, we're able to add a couple more. The hardest part about it is finding time to rehearse and get some of these songs down. I mean, we hit the ground running. I think we've got 33 shows and something like 40-something days. So we're grinding, man, and we're just working our asses off out here and trying to get as much time in as we can to hone in some of these other tunes. And the beautiful thing about it is, we're really becoming a band, and that's what I love most about it is, we'll get a chance to stretch our wings, as our career keeps moving forward, and we'll get a chance to play some of the songs that we're not able to play on this record that will become sort of the fan favorites, and we get a chance to, make them part of the show. So it's always a forever moving process and forever growing, and we don't just, we have the choice to make our own rules here in our own way, and that's what I love the most about it is, every song will get its due.
Awesome. Well, Chuck, it's a pleasure talking with you, man. I appreciate you sharing, some background about the album, touring, and all the other things we've talked about here today, man. I'll let you run. I know you guys got a busy evening here heading into Memphis right now, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And I know, it wasn't the best of conditions, us on the bus and passing the phone back and forth. But hey, you do what you got to do, man. So thanks for bearing with that.
Oh, no, hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation here today, man. You guys are going to be in Nashville on June the 1st at the Basement East. I'm looking forward to catching you guys live again and grabbing some live images of you guys doing your thing live, man. So, real quick, I'll let you run here. If Beasto Blanco was to cover an Elvis song, since you're heading into Memphis right now, what Elvis song would Beasto cover?
That's a great question. What Elvis song would we cover? Calico, Cooper. Yeah, it's not the same thing. We'd probably do an older, more recognizable tune. I mean, there's so many great ones, but probably Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Yeah.
Hey, that might be something. Maybe would you get some time to do rehearse or something? Maybe you could bang one of those out like on a YouTube video or something in rehearsal space. Just for fun.
Are you managing us now?
Hey, that's just how we do it here at the show, man. Things pop in my mind, and I just blurt things out, and I figured, that seemed to work. So.
I love it, dude. Oh man, that's a great idea. Thanks for your suggestion, man.
Hey, not a problem, man. Chuck, tell Calico again. Thanks, both of you, for your time. Hopefully, there's no bus issues, and again, I'll catch you here in Nashville on June the 1st, man.
We'll see you there, bro.
It's Beasto Blanco here on Revelator.